Good afternoon and welcome back to Friday Afternoons with Col. You are in Col's bar. It's Friday afternoon, another Friday afternoon. Man, they come around, don't they? Another busy working week. A lot of good rock and roll this week though. Been listening to a lot of cool stuff. And we're going to talk about a few things today that are interesting to you, interesting to me, including the underrated Cheap Trick album. I consider it to be the most underrated Cheap Trick album. Puh, spit that out. It's not The Doctor. It's not Standing on the Edge. You'll just have to watch and wait. Let's head to the first section, which is Grapevine. So, not a real lot of news this week that, I sort of consider to be worthy, apart from a new release from Jeff Dahl and Deniz Tek on Cleopatra Records called Love Hate split single. We'll talk more about that in next week's show once we've had a chance to give it a good listen. I have had a little bit of a listen to it, and as most things that those guys do, it's top shelf. But we'll talk more. We'll play those tracks next week as well for you. Before we get onto the body of the show, I do want to sort of talk in this sort of section. I want to acknowledge or give a shout out, as they say nowadays, to someone. I want to reference a guy called J.D. Dimitri Monroe, who many people who watch this, who are watching, will know Dimitri Monroe. Basically because I've been reading some of his columns recently on the Glam website, and it kind of reminded me, how many years this guy has been writing, and through his various writings and opinions and reviews, he's continued to draw attention and to promote, so many cool rock and roll bands over any number of years, and magazines, publications, websites, etc. He's turned that many people onto so many cool bands, and I just wanted to sort of acknowledge that because, and it's not just one genre either. He's a fan of so many Australian bands as well, stuff like Beast of Bourbon, all that sort of ilk as well. Roland Howard, I know he's a big fan of. But, across a number of different genres, garage punk, psychedelic, power pop, glam, through his own fanzines as well, which he used to publish, called Burnt Out Recluse was one, Ready to Snap. And he also got stuff in more mainstream sort of publications such as Hit List, Now Wave, and Detroit's Entertainment Weekly, the Metro Times. Of course, had his own band, a number of bands. One which was called Dimitri Monroe and the Naked Flames, and I heard a bunch of those demos that he did send me, but which were great. And he also released a song on the second Drunk on Rock compilation, which came out on I-94 Records. And today, as I said, he continues to write online for the rock zine The Glam. Has a column there called Gutter Gospel, which is not only insightful, but it also talks all things cool rock and roll. And as I said from the outset, I'm a regular reader of it and suggest you subscribe to it too. The other little shout out I wanted to give was to a guy called Mark Rubenstein. If you are looking for a creative director, a designer, artist, graphic artist for your next project, be it album artwork or whatever it is, you need to talk to Mark Rubenstein in New York City. He can do business remotely. He's recently done some projects for Vicious Kitten Records, and as you've seen by the results on the Golden Rat CD, and also the forthcoming Hitmen live CD, which Mark's done, it's first rate. Highly professional, pleasure to work with, and as I said, the results are excellent. And as a musician as well, he also understands what you're after. So you can check out his website at themarchives.com. I'll put the link to that in the show notes. Used and approved by Vicious Kitten Records. Folks, check out those two links. Okay, and on to the next part of the show, which is called 3 Risk. The acronym, 3 records you should know. I've been listening to so many different bands in the last sort of week, as I always do. I follow a lot of radio stations online, and I listen to other people's shows where they're punching out new things as well. And, you know, there's some stuff that I think, man, this not that it's you know, as healthy as it once was, but boy, if you dig a little bit, there is a lot of cool rock and roll out there, and you just have to scratch below the surface and it's there. And a lot of these bands, sort of back to basics, they're out there, you know, on Bandcamp and their ground roots. And please show your support to those bands. Throw a few dollars at them, support their stuff on Bandcamp, go and see them live if you're in their area, buy their merchandise. As I said, it's ground roots again, and that's, you know, very heartwarming in a lot of ways. It's resolving to get away from the mainstream, which is quite often what it's always been about. So today on 3 records you should know, 3 Risk, we're going to start with a band from out of Buffalo, New York, called Perilous. So Perilous have just released their debut album on 1st of December. And you need to know about it. High energy, glamorous, melodic punk rock and roll fronted by the fabulous Pauline, who previously fronted Pauline and the Perils, who cut a killer power pop single in 1980 called I Can Walk Away, which is really hard to find. It sells for a bomb if anyone's got a copy. And Pauline was also in a band called Promise, who cut an EP in 1983. And they also had one of their tunes, what was that called, 1+2, on a recent compilation album from a couple of years back, The American Jungle Underground, 83 to 87. But today, Pauline is back and rocking around Buffalo in a fabulous melodic outfit called Perilous. And they have a new album out now called Yeah! Exclamation point. Yeah! Exclamation point. Get it? And we're going to listen to a tune called Last of the Dying Breed from that album. Super strong vocals and really great guitar tone throughout, particularly on the solo. Really has a lot of appeal. So, let's cut to it. This is Perilous. Check it out.
Do you remember when? Yes, I remember then.
The renegades, rebels, and the wild youth on an endless quest for the truth.
Rebels and a wild youth on an endless quest for the truth. New York City ain't so sweet. All the dirty punks and the hippie freaks. Sounds of
Bandcamp as well. I'll put the link in the show notes where you can pick up that. And, you know, all the tracks on that record, top to bottom, are really strong. So check out Perilous and show your support. Second band I want to shine a light on today is a band who've been doing big things in Melbourne, Australia, certainly for the last couple of years, and their star is on the rise. A band called the Stripp, Stripp, from Melbourne, and they released an EP in 2022, split EP with Electric Frankenstein, which is also worthwhile checking out. But they have a current EP out called Get High, and from that EP, this is the title cut. So this is the Stripp with Get High. Yeah, real high energy kind of stuff. So if you dig, yeah, I suppose Electric Frankenstein's a good reference point. Helicopters, all that kind of Swedish stuff that came out in the 90s. The Stripp are very right into that sort of stuff. So they know their influences, and they are a band doing good things at the moment, as are a band called the Geurilla Teens from out of Portland, Oregon, with the great Scott Deluxe Drake out front, and they have a brand new album out called Under the Dagger. So ex-Humpers frontman Scott Drake and also Jeff Fieldhouse is in this lineup. They lead this group along with Saul Cole, who is a guitarist from the Love Sores. And on this album, it's amazing, top to bottom, as you'd expect. Anyone familiar with any of Jeff's previous work, particularly with the Humpers, it's foot to the floor, it's melodic, it's high energy, and it's a no-risk buy. So let's listen to a tune from the Geurilla Teens album. This is the Geurilla Teens with Under the Dagger. Okay, and welcome back today's focus, the main subject for today's show, is the album that I consider to be the most underrated Cheap Trick album of them all. And I guess some years back I was watching a video of Cheap Trick and the session that they were doing at the Hard Rock Cafe in Vegas in '97. And as well as playing standards, some of these standards I think are quite tired. Stuff like Surrender is quite tired. But back then they were playing a bunch of tunes off their then current album, 1997's self-titled CD called Cheap Trick. And it reminded me how great an album that really was. You know, I mean, stuff like The Doctor Aside, I suppose, and, you know, Standing on the Edge, those albums also have a lot of high points. But to me, in my opinion, this 1997 album is the most underrated of all Cheap Trick's albums. So let's shine a little bit of a light on that and dig into it if you're not familiar with it. So this is named after the original 1977 debut album, but the whole album features a similar black and white scheme to the cover. So they drew a direct line between 77, 97, with spinning off and applying some of the same themes there. So yeah, so same black and white scheme on the cover and a similar stripped down sound to what they had used 20 years earlier. The band's gear appears on the cover instead of the band members themselves. Some people have, I guess, suggested that the band chose this approach, you know, and sort of treating their debut album with independent label Red Ant Records as an opportunity to reintroduce themselves as a band to a new era. Recorded between December 95 and January 97, released in April 97, it reached 99 on the Billboard charts. So as I said, it was released on Red Ant Records and distributed into Australia by Shock Records. That's right, so there's no epic CBS big budget here. We're talking just the basics. And what was interesting was the label Red Ant went belly up and bankrupt only 3 weeks after this album's release. So to me, this is really an album of superbly crafted pop, as you'd expect from Cheap Trick. So many cool tunes on this album, top to bottom. Anytime, the opener, Hard to Tell, Baby No More, all great tunes. But my Australian version of the album also includes the cover of The Moves' Brontosaurus, which was also released as a 7-inch on Sub Pop. My favourite tune on the album is actually a song called Carnival Game. Yeah, that is such a massive song. It has so many elements that define the Cheap Trick sound. You know, a lot of hook, big chorus, and I'm not sure if that song was a leftover from the Woke Up With a Monster sessions or not. But if I was going to introduce someone to Cheap Trick, I'd actually play them that song first, because it just, as I said, ticks all the boxes to me about what defines Cheap Trick and the Cheap Trick sound. So yeah, memorable pop, big hooks, yeah, thought-provoking lyrics, and a chorus that will be stuck in your head for days. So speaking about the album when it was released to Billboard magazine in 1997, Rick Nielsen said, and I quote, "This is the first album of the second half of our career. We have a past, but we have a future as well. We're still angry and hungry. It's still exciting for us. We're still hungry." You know, I think since in the last 97, 07, 17, what's that, 24, 25, 30, yeah, 25 years. I said last week, maths is not my strong point. They're clearly in the Heritage Act domain now. So they've lost that hunger and anger. And I suppose that's fair enough, you know. I mean, but back then, 97, it was indeed an exciting time for them, an exciting time for this album. So given, give this album some time, give it a listen, turn it up, and you'll come to love it. I think it's indeed the band's most powerful, direct, and melodic album that they've released in years. They keep the sound to the basics. You know, the guitars are loud, a lot of crunching chords, sweet melodies. The key to the success of the album is the reinvigorated songwriting and the result's a tight melodic set of hard rockers and ballads. No pressure, that's the thing. There's no big label to try and get the hit from that had passed, a few years prior. So they released one video for this album for the tune Say Goodbye. Only video from the album. But I'm going to play you about 90 seconds, 2 minutes of 2 songs from the album that I think demonstrate the diversity and caliber and range of songs on this record. So the opener, Anytime, which is live from Boston in 97, and then we're going to go cut straight to that tune Carnival Game from Las Vegas in 1997. So we'll come to that, and we'll come back and we'll wrap that segment up.
Good. This one's called Anytime.
Voices inside my head, all of them just want to talk to you. I can feel your imagination running wild deep inside, you know it's true. This won't be a test of your religion. You won't have to bang the bedroom walls. Can you really hold and keep a secret? Well, I'll be right here anytime at all. Anytime you wanna call. Anytime you wanna come on. Anytime you wanna come. Anytime you wanna come on. That love lasts forever, if only just a lonely day tonight. Never thought about the perfect answer, but I've got a place where you can hide. I can feel your lips all around me. I can't wait until anytime you wanna come. Anytime you wanna come on. Anytime you wanna come. Anytime you wanna come on. That was the only trip that I recall. Every time I turned around at all, there was you. Some days are easier said than done. Always expecting something's wrong. I'd rather live alone than drag this time. Take your time, please lay your hands on me. Don't wanna be appeal whatever turns you on. Take your time, please, lay your hands on me. Don't wanna be alone, oh no. Oh, mask behind the face of that you've got. Oh yeah, comes a time when you're better off alone.
All right. So, do you agree with me? Thoughts? Comments? Maybe you've got a different opinion? I'm not always right. Most times. Some people think this is a great record. Some people think this is their most underrated album. You know, One on One. There's a pick from Tom Peterson. It's a copy of One on One, which is signed. Is it one on? Sorry, it's a copy of Lap of Luxury, of course, signed by the band on their 1988 Australian tour, club tour. When they were dead in the water, they were doing pubs and clubs. Pre the success of The Flame, and of course they shot up again. But again, if you've got a difference of opinion, that's the beauty of it. So put your comment in, interested in your feedback. Okay, next segment. Let's go to Yes, indeed. This is Kevin K Classics, where we highlight a previous release by the great Kevin K. And I didn't do much work for this one. The great Bob Ballantyne over there in Buffalo did it for me. Well, he did it for himself, but I'm going to share it. So on this week's episode of Kevin K Classics, we're going to throw to this video by The Toys with a live number and pretty cool collage video of images put together by Bob. And the song is called McVan's A Go-Go. McVan's nightclub, of course, for those who resided in Buffalo, was in existence from 1922 to 1984 and helped shape music in Western New York from 1965 to 1984. So this song is called McVan's A Go-Go. Only ever captured live. I don't believe the band ever recorded this. But if you want the other recordings by both the Toys and the New Toys, they are available on this CD here, okay, which is called Hey Aunt Helen. Okay, so all the singles digitalized. Check that out. That's available everywhere. Okay. Okay, so enough. Let's cut to the song. This is the Toys.
There's a song about this club right here. It's called McVan's A Go-Go, dedicated to Joe and Bandy. We're going down to Joe's place. The past sign up our west side. There's a rock and roll show down in Buffalo. Everybody's gonna go crazy inside. And the bills are crossing easy as they dance. triumph. Well, I feel so good, cause I lost his hand for it, and my hero standing shield would stood. And the things are not so easy, as they dance and dance around. Oh, the place will keep on rocking, till the day it burns down. Down the flames of go-go, the flames of go-go.
Right, now, also going to throw back to a previous episode of the Australian Rock Show, just to highlight something that's been done in the past in the archives that you may not be familiar with. So on episode 30 of the Australian Rock Show from 2015, what's that, 9 years ago, we chatted with great Australian drummer Ray Arnott, who talked in great detail about his life in rock and roll, his time with Albert Productions, his memories of Bon Scott, working with Vanda and Young, much, much more. So, all his bands, Campact, Company Cane, Spectrum, Mighty Kong, Ross Wilson, The Dingoes. He replaced Steve Prestwich, of course, in Cold Chisel, recording with Jimmy Barnes. You know, his resume in rock and roll reads like a who's who. So, if you haven't checked that one out, very interesting. Okay, so we're coming to the end of today's show, but I just wanted to make mention of the fact that Kevin Kay has a children's book out, which is now available worldwide. The Adventures of Alvin the Seahorse, and great poems, good messages as well, great messages for kids or adults, you know, harking back to a simpler time when the world was sort of less complicated. And we need more of that, right? So if you want to sit down and get great book for your kids, or if you're just someone who enjoys great poems, fun poems, and good drawings, there's a link to that as well. Check that out. Again, please subscribe to the show, and a bunch of cool stuff coming up next show as well. I've got a couple of things planned. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and a lot of cool things coming soon, including new releases on Vicious Kitten Records. So be sure to, we're going to update the website with a whole new bunch of stuff coming soon as well. So be sure to bookmark all that stuff and check back regularly for all the latest news happening with Vicious Kitten Records. Folks, that's about it for today. My name is Colin Gray from Vicious Kitten Records and the Australian Rock Show YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.